Last Monday on November 6th, OpenAI had lots of announcements at their Developers Day. So today in this video, I'm going to walk us through some of those announcements. There are quite a few, so I'm not going to cover every one of them. The biggest one, obviously, was that they are launching or launched GPT-4 Turbo last Monday. And what's neat about it is that it now has knowledge of world events up to April 2023. And it also has 128,000 context window, which is roughly the size of 300 pages of text in a single prompt. So that's really impressive. And here's how you would use it as a developer. You need to pass this through as your model in the API. And I'm going to skip over things that were important, but I'm not going to cover them here. One of the other important items was the reproducibility of your outputs by introducing this new seed parameter. And you need to go read up on exactly how that works. It's not, even they say it's not going to be, it's going to be reproducible most of the times, not all the time. What I thought was interesting is that they're going to launch a feature to return the log probabilities for the most likely output tokens generated by the GPT-4 Turbo model. And I think I'm personally excited about that because I would like to understand those log probabilities, and you can kind of sort of reverse engineer things. It is fun for me. And then besides the fact that they released GPT-4 Turbo, the next biggest important item was this: Assistance API retrieval and code interpreters. And so this assistant APIs, to me, is them getting closer to where I have to currently use things like Langchain to conduct a lot of my tasks. So even they say it's their first step towards helping developers build agent-like experiences within their own applications. And so I definitely am very excited about this. I'm going to show you a quick little code that I put together to try out the Assistance API, doing some retrievals. So there's more to obviously come, but it seems like they're headed in the direction of making the developers' lives much easier in terms of just focus on directly working with OpenAI to do a lot of the current lifting that we have to do through things like Langchain, like chunking and all that stuff. I know that's kind of not going to matter, especially with 128,000 context window, because most of us don't work, at least I don't work with documents that are more than 300 pages long. So yeah, they're definitely headed towards where they want to be, one stop for all the things you got to do to leverage large language models through application developments. So this retrieval part is what caught my eyes for sure. It augments the assistant with knowledge from outside our models, such as proprietary domain data. So if you've seen my other videos, I keep talking about I'm building those apps to leverage the large language model on some domain specific knowledge, and I had to use things like Langchain and some other things to actually make it happen. With some of this functionalities that they introduced on Monday, it's getting closer to where they want to be a one-stop shop there. And I will show you how I put a quick code together that uses their assistant. And some other things, they GPT-4 Turbo with vision. I think that's actually pretty cool. And here's the model that you got to use in your API. Text to speech, I like that. I can see some use cases for apps that I develop. And then model customization. They're creating an experimental access for using GPT-4 for fine tuning, and then the other thing that caught my eye was the custom models. So basically, as they say, organizations that need even more customization than fine tuning, right? So now because what's after fine tuning? You basically have to build your own large language model. So I think this is almost like a step in between. You want to do something more than fine tuning, but yet not build your own large language model. This is where this would come into play. It's giving selected organizations an opportunity to work with a dedicated group of OpenAI researchers to train custom GPT-4 to their specific domain. So I think one would have to have lots and lots of data to do this. And it's not as if you're going to create your own large language models, but it sounds like it can train custom GPT-4 on their, or build a custom GPT-4 on their specific domain knowledge. And what I found interesting was that where is it? Yeah, proprietary data provided to OpenAI. Okay, fine, they won't use it, but this custom model will be very limited and expensive program to start. Interested organizations can apply here. All right, so let's move on. The new pricing, GPT-4 Turbo is their pricing is much more economical than the current GPT-4 model for sure. And then here's the last thing I want to highlight that they talked about: Copyright Shield. Essentially, they're committing to protecting their customers, in this case me as a developer, with built-in copyright safeguards. And they even go as far as saying that they will pay the cost incurred if you face legal claims around copyright infringement. Nothing more specific than that, but definitely, at least this is in the right direction. I think this will give a whole lot of enterprises a little bit more comfort, but there are no specifics here. All they say is they'll pay the costs that you would incur for copyright infringement. But anyway, so that's those are the key highlights that they provided on Monday. And now what I want to do is I want to walk you through something I put together here. So first thing I wanted to do was this is a quick little code where I wanted to try GPT-4 Turbo for through their chat completion function, using their chat completion function. So basically put some code together where standard stuff, right? You provide the roles for the system and a role for the user. In this case, I just said you're a helpful, friendly assistant, and I'm just going to leverage the GPT-4 Turbo model to tell me about language models. And basically, here's the output. So I wanted to just see, wanted to try it out, and I did, and it kept within my token limit. Looked pretty good. And then what I wanted to do is I wanted to try GPT-4 Turbo on a document that I would provide. So I have a Citibank's I think second or third quarter earnings script that's publicly available. So basically wanted to load that up, and then I want to show you guys just how many the size of the file, or the number of tokens in the file, about 23,000. I mean, it's I could have loaded a file that had like 80,000 tokens, but I just wanted to try this out. So it's 23,000 tokens. So again, same concept. Provide the system's role that you're an investment analyst and expert at answering bank earnings questions. Provide some user's question here. In this case, I'm just asking what's highlighted about credit performance, and credit outlook in their earnings report, earnings call script, and here's the summary. Not the summary, but the answer that I got back. I mean, I have already gone through this. It's good. It picked up on the different types of credit because I work in banking, and so I know that when someone says credit, there are different sort of credit outlooks or credit types. There's credit losses. There's credit interest rates, etc. So then here we go. This is where we're going to try out their assistants, API assistants that they were talking about. And so essentially the way it works is it basically works this way. Their assistants work by, there are three objects: the assistant object itself, a thread object, and a run object. And so first, what you do is you create this assistant object, and I'll show you what that looks like. And then your thread, and then you basically use your run object to get get the message back, or if you're in my case, I'm doing a Q&A, so to get my answer back. So in the thread, you're going to provide your message, and then you use the run object to basically go retrieve the answer, and then you can display the answer. So let me go back to the code. And so here we're going to use OpenAI's client files create function to bring in my same file, that Citibank document. And so now basically what I've done is I've let OpenAI suck this document out of my out of my PC. And here we create the assistant object, and I just named it investment analyst. And I described, here's the description for my assistant, that you're an investment analyst and an expert that answered the same thing I had used before for the systems role. And then here's the thread object, in which basically I'm passing a message into it, and in there we basically define the user's role. And here's the question that I want to ask of my document: what's said or highlighted about credit outlook, etc. And then here's the run object. And so first I create the run, and then I go retrieve it using the run ID that I get here. And then once you retrieve it, I can look at my message list, and basically here is the answer that's embedded in the message. But kind of chunk, you got to parse it out, so that's what I'm doing here. I parsed it out, so you get the answer here, kind of similar to the other prior retrieval I just showed you. It does a good job of, like, obviously, and I like the fact that there's bullet points or numbers them out, like first thing, the cost of credit. In the document they talk about normalization in their net credit losses, etc. And so it's actually a pretty good job. And then because once you have a thread, and so think of this as like just it's a bot, and so now I can like follow up. I just got to provide a new message in the thread, and now I said, okay, summarize what is said or highlighted about the consumer outlook. And same deal. Once I updated the thread or with this new message, I'm going to create a run, retrieve it, and then I'm going to print out the response. And so one thing I'd said in here, I think was, I said provide this summary in a quote. So that's why it does that here. And basically, I did actually go check this out in the document itself, and yeah, it's actually really good. So there you go, guys. I couldn't wait, so I just spent some time today trying to figure out how to use some of their new things, trying out their GPT-4 Turbo model with the extended context window. I got to find a file that has, like, something more than 23,000 tokens, and I'll keep playing around with it. So there's a lot more that's has to be unpacked here, and I'm not making this video to unpack all of it, but just want to show you, first tell you about some of the key announcements from November 6th from OpenAI, and then show you what I think is the biggest thing that I took away was this Assistants API. All right, until next time.